your victory is guaranteed. Now, because some of us live a lifestyle of trusting God, we are not surprised when we get the victory. We are never caught off guard when God blesses us, promotes us, sends us better, does for us the good measure, the press, the shaking, and the running. And I'm telling you this morning, God has ordained change for some of our lives. And it's change for the better. He says it's time for improvement. Now understand, when it comes to God, if I will stay in his will, if you will remain in his will during a time of change, you never have to worry about God's change being a change for the worse. Because we often see that where people change, but they change for the worse. And I'm going to give you two reasons that folk change for the worse. Two important reasons that we often change, but it is a change for the worse. Before I give it to you, have you ever had somebody in your life or somebody you know change for the worse? Have you ever had, maybe that change lasted a couple of minutes, maybe it lasted a month, maybe it lasted a year, but have you ever witnessed a person changing for the worse? It's going to be a hard one on some of you. Have you ever noticed about yourself that you made a change for the worse? Come on. Some of us have made changes for the worse. And people tried to tell us, hey, this new you need to go away. No, I'm going to be me. But see, in being you, there's a change for the worse. Some of us got a new attitude, but we need to throw it in the trash can. Because we changed, but it was for the worse. You got to monitor yourself. You got to monitor how you talk. You got to monitor how you think. You got to monitor the choices that you make. Because in how you think, talk, and in what you do, it will tell you whether there's been a change for the better or for the worse. You have to evaluate yourself. When it comes to how you deal with problems, have you changed for the better or have you changed for the worse? Is problem still tearing your mind to pieces? Is problem still causing you to be stressed out? Is problem still keeping you up at night? Do problems have you worrying all the time? So you have to evaluate yourself. You have to monitor yourself so that you'll know when you do make a change that's for the worse, you can look for some mercy from God when you repent and turn that, hey, I'm going to do better. I say, I'm going to do better. I know I've changed, but it ain't for the good. I've actually made a change, watch, that's outside of God's will. And anytime we change, don't miss it. You want it to be in line or according to God's will. That's what you want. Now, the two reasons folk change for the worse. Number one, sadly, we trust in man too much sometimes. And it causes us to change for the worse. We put too much trust in man. You was happy until a man said what you desire couldn't be done. And all of a sudden, you went from happy to sad. You went from being joyful to being depressed based upon what a man who is limited said to you. You made a change for the worse, listen, but it was based upon you putting too much trust in man. Shout to somebody, big mistake. God is the only one we can rely on in totality. But when you put too much confidence in man, you'll see yourself changing for the worse based upon that confidence that you had in man. And see, There's somebody here this morning. You need to stop allowing that to change you. You have to get over what man says. And you have to know within yourself as a child of God that he has the final say. Why would I get down about what you say and I know you don't have the final say? That's left up to God. But if you put too much confidence in a man, in a doctor, in a lawyer, in a preacher, in a teacher, in a spouse, in a friend, what they say will move you. It'll have you changing. Some of us got so much confidence in people that when they change for the worse, you change for the worse. When they up, you up. When they down, you down. That's giving too much power to a man or a woman. Oh, Lord. If your job, if all you hear on the job is good news, then you happy. But if you go a month or so with turmoil on the job, then it causes you to become a negative or pessimistic person because of what's happening on that job. Woo! And this reason some of us bring our job home when we shouldn't bring it home. And then we negative around the house. And people try to figure out what's wrong with you. And you keep talking about, you just don't know what's all happening on this job. I don't know. I don't really need to know. But can you please leave it on the job? And if we have to talk about it as Christians, we need to see the good in everything. Oh, God, I got a few claps. You need to learn to see the good in every. Pastor, you talking about bad stuff in everything. See good in it. You want me to tell you why some of us are not clapping? You can't do it because you look through man's eyes or your own eyes. To see good in everything, you need God's glasses. And I don't mean literal. You need God vision. Some of you are trapped by your own vision. Living based upon what you can see. But when you look through the eyes of God, whatever he ordained for your life, he'll show you some good in what's happening. Even if it's to the point to where he say, look, I want you to experience this and I want you to learn from it. Don't you know when you learn from things, that's good. Well, Pastor, I just rather you go through it and then teach about it. Well, sometimes that's going to be the case. But then sometimes God can say, no, you're going through this. Sadly, we trust sometimes too much in men. But the most powerful one, the second one, is sadly, we trust sometimes in ourselves too much. Some of us put more on ourselves than we're capable of doing. And then when change don't happen, when we want it and how we want it, we change for the worse. Remember what I told y'all? When you've done all you can do, when you've done all God told you to do, you stand what? Still. And you see the salvation of the Lord. But what happened when we've done all God had told us to do? We're standing still, but we're not seeing the change we want. Let me tell you what happened. You get in self and you start making decisions that you think, that you feel, help us, Lord, is going to bring you the change that you desire. And people mess up. I said people mess up. I said people mess up. Because there are consequences. Or we're going to reap based upon our decisions. You're going to reap. And when I trust too much in me, trying to produce a change, listen to me, change being, number one, a transformation. See, there's nobody in here that doesn't have anything going on in your life where you desire some change in that area. You want some better to show up. You want some improvement to show up right now. If you be honest, right now, we need that change. We need a transformation to take place. We need change when it comes to who we are. We need change to come in reference to what we have. We need change in reference to what we do. Some of you desperately desire change on your job, in your career. You want a change to take place. Number two, which is the most powerful definition of change, is just something different. Have you ever been in a situation where you had a God feeling that it was time for something different? Oh, that was somebody's ring, but you didn't. Have you ever had a God feeling that it was time for change? Have you ever been able to sense change coming? I ain't got that many Jobs in here, but you ain't going through as bad as Job was, yet he still could sense change was coming. And God told me to tell the church, change is coming. But woe to the man, woe to the woman who gets in self and tries to produce the change that he or she desires or wants. Woe to the single person who won't listen to God in reference to a spouse, in reference to a friend. But now you're about to get in self and make choices. Woe to you. Woe to the person who needs change financially, but you won't wait on God. You won't allow God to order your steps. You won't allow him to show you what to do so that when you make your decisions, you'll be in the will of God. Woe to you who try to move too fast. I remember growing up, my parents would always tell me, you try to move too fast. But I didn't understand what they were saying. Come on. Because to me, they were just moving too slow. It wasn't me moving too fast. It was them moving too slow. But guess what I found out when I got older? Oh, boy, you were moving too fast. Woo, see, that's a word for somebody in here, but I don't know exactly who it is. You better point to somebody and say, woe to you if you're moving too fast. When you say things like, I got to do what I got to do, you're moving too fast. When you say stuff like, if something gonna happen, I gotta make it happen, you're moving too fast. I'm gonna drop this word. That's when some of you are in places you shouldn't be. You're moving too fast. You're moving too fast. Who told you to go on the interview? You're moving too fast. Who told you to consider that job? You're moving too fast. Who told you to consider this woman as your helpmate? You're moving too fast. Who told you to divorce? Who told you to separate? You're moving too fast. Who told you to give up? Who told you that it wasn't going to happen? You're moving too fast. Wow! God help us, because somebody is moving too fast. You know when you move fast? When you get frustrated. When you get tired, not just being tired, but tired of being tired. Oh, I got to teach this right. And in all of our walk with God, if you walk with him long enough, there will be times that you feel like he doesn't move fast enough. He doesn't answer. He doesn't heal right away. Don't we love the stories in the Bible when Jesus looked at folk and then the Bible said, and immediately. I said, in the Bible said, and immediately. You want a church to shout? Start talking about immediate blessings. Start talking about immediate debt cancellation. Start talking about, but when you start talking about wait on it, you'll lose some of your congregation.